Hello, pilots. Welcome back to Motion RC Live. And yes, you saw in the comments and the emailer yesterday, we do have a big announcement today, and I wanted to welcome everybody. Looks like we got close to 500 people in here today, so thank you for joining me. If you are stuck at home in your quarantine, then hopefully the little escape here from Motion RC will do you some benefit. So you can hang out with us. We'll probably be going today for even longer than we normally do. But for all you guys watching us for the first time, every Friday at this time, we are coming live with something. And if Motion RC ever has anything new, then this is where you're going to hear about it first. And we do have some big news today, and we are joined by our Senior Manager, Alpha Enos. Are you there?
Hey, guys.
There's Alpha. Say hello to everybody. A little more than just, hey, guys.
Hello, everybody. Prepare to be disappointed.
In more ways than one, because not only do we have a big announcement, where announcements always breed disappointment for some, but if you guys have been following Motion RC, you know we've been doing our March Mayhem Custom Aircraft Challenge, and the time has come to reveal the winners. The contest closed today at 9 a.m., and we had over 60 people. So as you see here, the lift division, too few days at the flying field. He had that Spitfire, and we'll show you in a second. Takes that division into the Final Four. Kraken Releaser with his Fantasia AL-37 ended up taking the drag division. Then as we head over to the thrust division, we had one of those mean MiGs from KRKAN, Kirkan, I guess I'd say. He slipped by Didier N in a tough battle and then made it to the Final Four. And Joey Jorgensen with his AWACS AL-37 took the weight division. And when the Final Four, if you could throw that up for us, Alex, that was your Final Four, gentlemen, of the most votes for the first place. And the overall winner turned out to be Joey Jorgensen's AWACS. Out of 756 total entries, 82 people placed him in first place, and that Spitfire, believe it or not, was the second place with only 38 total finishes in the first place. So the AWACS basically got more than 10% of the overall vote, or close to, yeah, more than 10% of the overall vote. And all power to you, Joey. So you are a winner of a $100 gift card. And then for the contest itself, going to the next page, that is our top 25. So everybody who filled out a bracket, we went through all the votes, the system totaled it up and advanced everyone forward. So if you check the website now, the link where you went originally to fill out your bracket, you'll see all the correct picks or wrong picks you got wrong. And I'll post that final bracket on Hobby Squawk and Facebook just to so you guys can reference it. But the top overall winner was Claudio. I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm not going to butcher it. But Claudio is a customer, and he won by 10 points. You got 10 points for a correct pick in the first round. So that means over Didier, who obviously didn't pick himself to win because he was in there as an A10. He picked the AWACS too. You literally beat him because you had one more correct pick in the first 32 matchups than Didier did. So congrats to you. It was nice to see one clean overall winner. And then Alpha, you threw up $50 of your own money for everyone who submitted an entry, and you did your random draw. So tell everybody who took it for you.
Yeah. So again, I threw in my own $50, guys, because we were blown away by having 250 entries. So everyone knows I'm a big painter and weatherer, and I love seeing the engagement. We're going to do this again. So we did a random drawing for my $50, and the winner, as we see here, is Racer 686 with that's our Freewing 90mm F-18 in a Canadian livery. So
yeah, I love that livery. I saw a couple of guys.
Yeah.
Again, Callie too, guys. Callie was a big part of this, and she
really was.
In her quarantine is doing her own contest just for any picture of any aircraft that has Callie graphics on it. You can enter that from her by sending her an email of your aircraft or jumping on Facebook. So definitely give Callie a shout out. But Racer 686, congratulations. You will also get a $50 gift card just for being a, just for even submitting and jumping on Hobby Squawk. So thank you so much. Thank you, Alpha, for doing that. So an overall $250 to start the day here, and I think we're getting close to now announcement time. So that'll do it for the March Mayhem. Again, we're going to have more of that coming up. Alpha, is there anything you would like to say before we announce what we are set to announce?
Rougelie. That's y'all's last clue.
Some of these clues, Alpha's laid it on thick, guys. And to be honest with you, we laid it on thick because there have been Easter eggs all over everything we do for about a month, and I haven't seen anybody pick up on it yet. So
the one thing I want to say, James, before we roll it is, guys, again, we've got almost 600 people in here now. We do this every Friday. Motion RC is about motion RC. It is hashtag RC everything. So we've seen that with tanks and all that we've done with that category, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. We see smooth sailing from here on out. So please continue to join us every Friday for these types of announcements, these types of deep dives into the products we've had, exciting looks at products we have to come. And we just love to engage all of you on Hobby Squawk as well. We're going to be going through, after this runs, we're going to be talking on Hobby Squawk, some histrionics as far as where you can go to get direct information about all the things that we're talking about, developing, getting your feedback on, and coming back for more. So stay close and buckle up.
Alex, roll it. We got boats. Alpha, explain.
RC everything, guys. We have always said for years now, something for everyone. We are Navy guys, heart to heart. Hobby Squawk for the past several months has had a logo on our main logo on the upper left there of a boat. It was right next to the tanks. We moved into scale tanks, military guys here. We're moving into scale warships sailboats, speedboats, yachts, etc. Now, of course, for all of you who love airplanes, we're airplane guys too. Airplanes, you got 2 airplanes in the past 3 months. We're gonna have
There's
another
airplanes.
airplane coming. Pretty, yeah. Where's that other airplane, James? Where would you
I
say
can turn the
it is?
camera around. They can see airplanes, but
So
we're not talking about
airplanes.
airplanes.
Not talking about airplanes today. Today, our love letter is out to all of our naval personnel, our Coast Guardsmen and Coast Guard women, and aviators who have become boaters along the way. So we've been working directly with the factory to announce Bancroft. Bancroft is Motion RC's all new super scale boat brand. We are doing a maritime brand, all different shapes and sizes. If you've ever wanted an aircraft carrier or a Titanic or the battleship Missouri, if you've ever wanted to get into sailboating or scale yachting, all of those things are things that we're going to be having for you. Probably one of the more exciting products that we're going to be bringing in is a landing craft that helps to transport and deploy a 1/16 scale tank. So
16 scale landing craft with the
Yeah.
Sherman on it. I'm so excited.
Exactly. So, understanding, I think the main thing I want to say to our audience now, guys, is Motion RC, again, is Motion RC. We are about RC everything. We have always been RC everything. The people who work here and all of us on the development team, behind the camera and everywhere, we want to drive things, we want to shoot things, we want to fly things, we want to sail, and we believe that a lot of you do too as well. If you're the guy out there who just wants an EDF, that's fine. Like I say, every product announcement, or in this case, category announcement, if you're not a tank guy, that's fine. But forward the link to someone who might be.
Yeah, definitely.
One of our team members, Andrew, his family is the namesake of the O'Bannon, which is a destroyer, a Fletcher-class destroyer in World War II. So I'd encourage anyone to look up the naval history of militaries around the world, and we believe that should be seen, that their history should be remembered just as much as a P-40 Flying Tigers or the OV-10 Bronco or the F-22. So their contributions to technology, to the world, and the crews and men and women who operate them are stories worth being told. So we're excited to bring in this brand, Bancroft. If you haven't already noticed, the pages are live on the website. So go to the website after this. Also jump into Hobby School.
Here, right now, we're going to go through each one of the boats you just saw, because those are going to be all the offerings in the first shipment that will arrive. So Alpha's going to take it through. We got B-roll to show you of each one. I wish I had one here to unbox, but I don't yet. And, when I do, first place I'm going to do it is on Motion RC Live. One other thing I want to say, I think the biggest hint, and it's been around longer than I have, is the fact that our in-house brand is called Admiral. If people didn't realize that the company likes boating and the Navy, then why were they buying Admiral receivers in their airplane or Admiral batteries, We should have named them something different. But
and these are going to be in both the US and the EU warehouses, so you can jump onto the websites and see the information there. Also, before we jump into those individual models, James, on Hobby Squawk, we have announced and opened up a new boating category. So there's a boat sub-forum now, just like we opened up with Surface for tanks and construction and trucks, where people can dive in and see what we're going to be showing you now in greater detail with write-ups, more pictures, etc. Exactly, Chris Blackburn, air, land, and sea. I mean, this is... This was day one plan. So
this was always
we're glad you see the vision.
They would have named it Air RC if it was only going to be airplanes. Would have been a lot easier. But Motion.
Chris, no, we've been planning boats and tanks, by the way, for years. Like Chris above you said, sea, air, and land. SEAL. That has always been the mission. Motion everything, guys.
Yeah, that's because Chris asked in the comments if you guys see, is there a reason with the investment in tanks and boats? It has nothing to do with the FAA. You don't just release a whole new lines of products and stuff in a matter of a month,
Right.
that just doesn't happen. It takes a lot of time. So that just happens to be wild coincidence, and you don't make an announcement for boats just because everybody happens to be home. This was all planned, and it just happened to fall on now. But I'm excited about it, so I say Alpha. Yeah, let's get into the first one. Alex, I believe it is the Fletcher, the USS Fletcher. So here you go, guys. Some B-roll of this bad boy coming. Woo! 1/72nd scale. Alpha, it looks gorgeous, and now you've shot all this footage, so that might even be your hand if you allow that on camera.
I think that was my hand. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was someone else's. So yeah, this is the USS Fletcher. This is a 1/72 scale. So large boat, fiberglass hull. The advantage of these boats, guys, is these are all being delivered RTR, so ready to run. There is no building, there's no painting or detailing. A lot of these models have hundreds of parts that are already pre-installed. You're quite literally taking the included radio, the included battery, the included charger, charging up that battery, putting it in the boat, and you're off to the races. So the Fletcher being the largest in this initial series, very important to consider the history behind the Fletcher and what the destroyers did for World War II. They really quite literally were considered by Admiral Halsey to be the backbone of the Pacific Fleet. They're why we won, in support of all operations from Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima to Okinawa and the Philippines. So the Fletcher is that titular destroyer, and she needs to be remembered. Definitely. One of my favorites.
Definitely, it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, again, at 72nd scale, compared to some of the bigger battleships, we saw, it's going to be about the same length as those.
It is, yeah. So it's important, when I talk about an aircraft coming, guys, that's just a hint of the wide line that we've planned. But when we consider scale, we're trying to keep these transportable. So there are larger scales. The aircraft carrier is definitely something you're not going to be able to fit in a car. But these first 14 boats are really things that you'll be able to put into a car sideways. That was sort of the limit. We wanted to make sure these are easy to transport, easy to pick up. These weigh about 20 pounds. This one does when it's fully loaded with ballast and ready to go. So it's still something that you can take as an everyday boat. These are not toys. It's important to say these are big boy toys. These aren't things you're going to want a kid picking up or dropping or tinkering with. But these are really premium quality, as you can see. High scale. What we're calling an elite series line of warships.
And I think it fits on the mantle just perfectly above a fireplace.
Yeah,
it would probably look mean weathered as well.
Yeah, I've got a 6-foot mantle, and so 6 foot by 1 foot or so is about as small a shelf as you're going to want to put something like this on. But they're big and they're beautiful. The turrets, as you see, they pop out super easily, and this is they're sort of what I'm calling mod ready. Any of us here could strap on a servo and make those be able to traverse left and right remotely. But beyond that, as you see, these just layers upon layers of detail is how the model arrives out of the box.
Wow, beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the YAMATO. I'm sure. To the YAMATO.
Mr. Beadler, we've got over 300 products that can fly, so these cannot. We're changing it up, guys. So this is the 1/200th scale IGN YAMATO. This is the largest warship ever produced during World War II, and ultimately, this is really the last pride of the Imperial Japanese at the time. This is a 1/200th scale, so right about 1.35, 1.4 meters long, and again, hundreds of parts are pre-assembled. This model comes completely built out of the box. It takes about 10 minutes to get ready to put into the water. So these are one of those things, as you can see, I'm going to continue to emphasize. These aren't Toys R Us boats, everyone. These are premium model grade, hobby grade, museum level warships. The Yamato is one of my favorites. It's one of those ships that should not have been built. It broke all the rules when they were building it, but here we have it in model form. All of these are fiberglass. These battleships are fiberglass hulled, and they have genuine wood decks. So paint, photo etch parts, etc., etc. I agree, Jared. The Yamato is a gorgeous beast of a ship. That brings us to the Missouri, I believe. Because the 1/200 scale Missouri, as we see here, probably the headliner of the series, because she's the same scale as the Yamato, and we also have the Bismarck. So sort of those three, the American, Japanese, and German battleships of World War II, we've got them in 1/200th scale. So 1/200 scale, again, being that size, I can just about get the Missouri sideways in a four-door sedan.
Yeah.
And imagine guys pulling up to the pond, taking this, pulling it out of your car, and just putting it in the water. Scale speed, if you want. Scale speed's about 10% throttle, and if you want to race it like a speedboat with a rooster tail coming out the back, I suppose you can. But what we're really trying to emphasize here is the history behind the ship. For those who do not know, and for those, this is the USS Missouri, is that warship upon which the Japanese surrendered. The warship is still serving as a museum ship at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. It's overlooking the Arizona Memorial. I'd encourage anyone who had an opportunity to go look at it and go stand upon her decks, because it's hallowed ground. So again, it should be no surprise that we brought these boats in. The USS Arizona, Gertrude Love, that is something that we're working on, and she will be coming. So guys, what we're going to be doing, I want no one to have any fear that our focus will shift away from aircraft. What we're doing, what we've done with tanks, is we've done a lateral. We've reached out into other areas, and we're going to pour the same amount of love and interest and expertise into making scale warships, just as much as we're working on the next jet and the next warbird for all of you, which are coming soon. Bringing models like these, as you said, Gertie, having the Arizona as something we can roll with, having the Missouri, having Fletchers, these are important.
Yeah, and also it's not like the Free Wing Factory or the Black Horse Factory are
yes,
putting their planes aside to make these. This is something completely different from someone completely else. These things can be produced at the same time that your favorite jets and warbirds are being produced, because I still love to fly too, but on all these windy days we've been having, now I can run over to the lake with this and my float
windy
plane.
And too cold. Freeze out.
Now I can bring it all in one shot, but
This is the World War II version for astute observers. There is a modern version of the Missouri after she was outfitted in several times throughout Vietnam, and then obviously as recently as Desert Storm. So this is the World War II version, the version as it would have appeared when the Articles of Surrender were signed.
Gotcha. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, guys, again, as you saw in the video, we got warships, we got speed, we got sail, and we've got civil. So we're still working through the warship. So Bismarck is next. Is that what we're seeing now?
Yeah, we're a bit closer, but the 1/200 scale Bismarck, this is that Atlantic vessel that really dominated the Atlantic, or is feared to be so. The Bismarck sunk the Hood, which is the sort of titular British battleship. We've got her coming as well. But the detail on these boats, I think, is astounding. I've driven all of these, have operated them for some time now, and Delta Dart, stand by. We've got, speaking about assault ships, we've got something coming for you. But looking back at the Bismarck, you see the layers of detail. I'm a detail guy. All what you see that's wood, that's genuine wood decking. All these railings, these are all photo etched brass and steel parts. Many of these turrets they can rotate, they can be positioned by hand. And I believe George was saying, if you never put these in the water, they're still amazing static display pieces, except they're significantly larger than anything you're ever going to buy at a model shop.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait.
I agree, Jared. I'm a big fan of the Bismarck.
Let me just hope I can put one in the lake at Jonal. So we'll find out April 2nd if that's going to happen. So
We're gonna have fleet maneuvers at Joe Knoll, and we'll have tanks in the grass, and we'll have airplanes and jets in the sky, guys. We are
the only thing I'm mad about is that the Missouri is in 16th scale to go with my tanks.
That would be about 50 feet long, but maybe we can swing that later.
One day, let's do that. All right, moving on, Alex, to the next one, good sir. We have the landing craft. Now, this only thing that got me mad, Alpha, he didn't have a battery for his tank to drive it off that day. Because, like, when me and Alex got this footage and saw it, we were like, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. And then nothing. You left me hanging.
Jared, we've got a U-boat coming. But here we see sort of where I really love RC. RC is multi-discipline, multi-platform. So I know we're air guys, but here is a maritime vessel that's capable of carrying and deploying a tank. So what you see in there is a 1/16 scale M4 Sherman. These two are designed to work together. So this is a fully functioning landing craft. This is the LCM-3, which was used in theaters such as Guadalcanal, and then also, probably most famously, in support of operations at Normandy, along with Higgins boats and other vessels. So these things are super fun. For the many of you who've got an M4 Sherman, if you have a pond, you now have a way to deploy that Sherman to shore.
Yeah, this was the tease. We're watching this call. I'm like, that's what you open the video with. That's what you open with video. It's drive.
Yeah, drive.
No battery in your tank. I got so upset.
We're under fire. Let's reverse and out.
Turn around. Run away.
St. Sanchez, to answer your question, will there be an aircraft carrier into Grady looking for an Akula or other submarines? Guys, the excitement around Bancroft as our new maritime brand is now this gives us the room to play for anything. So in the same way that I continue to say for aircraft, anything goes, everything's coming, same answer for surface now. We're bringing it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Surface now, by air, by land, or by sea, baby. We're attacking from all flanks.
Yeah. So speaking of attacking, it was important to have the PT-596. So this is a nice size boat for people who like speedboats and sort of more the sport style boats who don't want to have hundreds of parts, sort of pin-sized parts hanging off of their warship. The PT-596 was one of those that we really wanted to bring in. PT-596, as I'm sure many of us know, is the latter stage or evolution of the patrol boats. These are fast attack torpedo boats. PT-109 being one of the most famous, obviously with the story surrounding future President Kennedy. So this carries 4 Mark 13 torpedoes. It's got a Bofors gun on the back. It's got rocket launchers that come out the sides. There's an autocannon on the front end, twin 50 cals. So one of those high scale, low cost, easy to operate. You can drive at scale or you can drive it fast. It sort of straddles a lot of lines for a lot of people. So this is that boat for someone who wants something a little smaller that'll still run really well and still have a lot of, as you see, a lot of high detail. This is a boat that I think is going to benefit well from lots of weathering, sun fading, and just dirting up all that armament. I'm a big fan of this one.
Yeah, that one it looks really pretty. I like olive drab. Something about olive drab.
Yeah, absolutely.
That. And I think we have our last warship. Nope. Yes, the Island Cutter. The Coast
Yes,
Guard.
William Decker. We need a McHale's Navy PT. So this is the Island class cutter. People forget the Coast Guard. We are talking Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy, but the coasters, the coasties, important contributions to keeping our shores protected. And so we brought in the Island class cutter. The Island class, for those not familiar, is a popular class of cutters that the U.S. Coast Guard uses. They're deployed with other countries as well throughout the world. But they're called Island class because they're all named after islands. So these are one of those hybrid boats as well, where you can run it fast like a conventional sort of RC speedboat, or you can run them really scale, keep them on the shelf, and they make perfect displays when they're not in use. So
it looked good
again with
band Coast Guard heli.
Yeah, it really would. So you can sort of see the transmission between air, sea, and land. And Coast Guard is one of those perfect ones. That yellow boom mast that you see there is completely assembled, but it's packaged in a box. So you're pulling this out of the box, taking that mast and attaching it to the pre-drilled holes, and you're in the water. Again, all of these boats that we're showing to you guys, the objective is 15 minutes and you're underway. So for anyone familiar with boats, typically you're planking, you're assembling a hull, you're gluing the deck, you're plumbing your screws there, as you see here. All that work is done for you. So if you took it out of the box and never put it in the water, we wanted it to live well on your shelf. It's not a toy, it is a display piece. But at the same time, when you get a wild hair, you can put her in the water and she goes just fine.
Yeah, she looked like she drove really beautifully. So that will end the initial phase of our warships. And as Alpha said, I see some people going in there. Did Alpha say Titanic? We said Titanic. Did we say aircraft carrier? We said aircraft carrier. Did we say other battleships, destroyers, and submarines, U-boats? Yes. But we'll start with this. And again, one thing I want to reiterate, guys, all these pages are live now. Make sure if you have an interest in one of them, click that notify me back in stock button. We asked people to do that with the tanks as well. And, same thing happened when we announced tanks. We got a lot of people saying, oh, why are they doing that? And then they were gone in a matter of weeks. So if you want one, click that notify me back in stock button. You will get a notification. It's first come, first serve. So the quicker you click that button, when they do come in stock, you'll get an email right away. But also it gives us idea. It gives our ordering department an idea of, orders. This is new to us, just like surfaces. We've got to learn the market just like helis were, and we're going to get it. And we're going to have it, flowing this time next year, I'm sure. We'll just be knocking them out. And now at this point, anytime we say we have an announcement, it could be anything. That's what's awesome.
Air and land. It could be anything.
Land, sea, it's all there now.
To answer your question, Jeremy Salt, yes, all of these boats do come with stands, whether they're the larger ones we've shown you or we're going to start moving into smaller sizes. They all come with stands. So at the very least, you'll be able to display it as we've been talking about. George, I didn't know your father served on an LST, but that's amazing. And to those of you asking about ARFs and whatnot, again, as James just said, show your interest. Put your email address in those notify me for warships you're interested in. If there's one on the website that you have an idea for, go to Hobby Squawk in the exact same way that everyone is great about going to Hobby Squawk and letting us know what jet they want or what airplane they want or what tank they want or what truck they want. Let us know what other vessels you want. We're listening, and anything goes.
Yeah, we always listen. And get on Hobby Squawk now because the boat sections are live as well. But now we're moving along from the warships to what's next, speed or sail or civil? The Saint Tropez? Saint Tropez? Yeah. You're not sure. But
so when we're speaking of the military class now moving into the civil class, this is the class where we're going to be bringing in yachts and liners. This is likely where a Titanic would fit. Everything from a small cruising yacht like the DP-58 you see right here, which was one of those classic yachts, to larger luxury liners, tugboats, and sort of everything in between. This is one of those boats, I believe it was Arrows who said on Squawk, this is sort of a boat that finally a yacht that he can afford. So this is, I'm never going to own a yacht, but this is one of my favorite ones to drive when we're talking just practical RC. It's quick, and it looks great sort of just sitting there. In addition, the other advantage with a lot of these boats is they run off of 2S batteries. So a 2S battery is included. These are completely RTR. This one can go into the water about 2 minutes after opening the box, as if you have a charged battery. But they're very economical to operate. None of these boats require 4S or 6S batteries. You don't need $100 battery to operate these boats for a very long time.
What's the connector on the boats?
These
battery.
use an XT60. Yeah,
It
so
is
if you have an
XT.
Admiral 2S 5000, for example, you can run this boat for over an hour, and just plug it in and go. So
Yes,
that's one of the.
All the watercraft are out of stock because they are not arrived in the warehouse yet. These are.
Yeah.
This is an announcement. This is not a pre-order. As soon as we know, I'm not sure if we're going to do a pre-order on these. We might, but you know, they will eventually be in stock. That's why we're saying notify.
Yeah.
Click the notify me back in stock button on any of them that you might be interested in, because as soon as they do hit, you know, then they'll be there. I'd say they're probably 2-3 months out. Alpha.
Yep. Well, again, guys, on the website, it'll clearly tell you these are late May arrivals. So it's not a pre-order. You're not paying anything now. You're just going to put your email and notify me so we can get a sense of how many of you are there. Our order is already in production. It's shortly on the way. So, you know, that's not going to help us, quite frankly, in the same way with tanks, guys. You had 3 months to look at that media and make the decision if you wanted one. Once they arrived, they sold out in a month. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your excitement. Some of them were gone in a day or two. We sold the entire lot across 16 vehicles.
And at the end of this video, I'm starting a GoFundMe because I want all you guys to get Alpha a yacht. So he deserves it. So we're getting the man a yacht.
In that same way, guys, that everyone sort of jumped on tanks very quickly, and then there are a lot of people who sort of missed out and are now waiting for the second shipment. You know, we encourage everyone to put in your notify me and look for that in-stock notification. To those asking about runtime, one of the major advantages of boats is these can run for, the sailboats will run for 3 or 4 hours. Long enough to get a good sunburn, let me tell you that from personal experience. These boats with their stock battery included, you're going to get about 30 minutes or so of running. If you run at scale, sort of like I do, it's going to go longer. And again, if you put in any of the 2S batteries, I think a lot of us already have in a lot of situations, you can potentially get much longer run times. But
nice. So moving on to the Tiamo.
RC Air Marshal, the Arleigh Burke is one of our most favorite destroyers, and I'd encourage you to jump onto Hobby Squawk and maybe create a thread and start letting us know who else wants an Arleigh Burke, who else wants a Titanic. These are vessels that we plan to bring in. We certainly have the intention of doing so, but the point of these podcasts, guys, are to give you guys, to hear it from us directly. You got to let us know. Go to Squawk, let us know what you want, and in what order, and you know, the sky's the limit. Actually, it no longer is. So
yes, the sky is no longer the limit. That's the
yeah. We're looking at the Tiamo here. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous boat. This is just, again, a peek of other yachts that we have coming down the line. And like the DP-58 Saint Tropez, she's a beautiful runner. Let's move on.
Looks like the boat in.
Oh, yeah. So the Grand Banks or Grand Captain. For me, my 2 favorite boats, if I had to pick 2 among the 14, one of them is the Missouri, and the other is the Grand Banks. Call me old-fashioned, but someone who grew up in Hawaii. We did a lot of fishing, and this style of boat is sort of this is my ride. Again, one of those boats for someone who wants something a little shorter in total hull length, but still sort of very tall and museum quality, display quality, without breaking the bank, so to speak. The Grand Banks is sort of our recommendation. Let's move on.
I dig it.
Yeah, so we're moving out of civil now. So we've done our military, we've looked at our civil. We also recognize that for a lot of people in maybe perhaps different age groups, boating is to go fast. And so this is the JETPOWER. This is a jet-powered boat. It's a water jet-powered boat. As you see, we just toss it into the water and she's up and running. It's a very fast boat on 3S, and its primary sort of creature feature is that it doesn't have a propeller. This is as close as an EDF, guys, as you're going to get.
Somebody's going to put wings on it.
Yeah, someone's going to put wings on it, I'm sure. But this.
So they have an in-runner or an outrunner is what I want to know.
Yeah, this operates just like a duct would on an EDF. It draws in fluid, whether it be air or water. It accelerates it internally with a brushless motor, pushes it out the backside with a thrust vectored nozzle. So this is a jet boat, and if you look at our Hobby Squawk thread, you'll see there's a link into the Sprint Boat series. The Sprint Boat series is a sport of full-size boats, two guys sitting next to each other. It's basically rally car racing in boats. So really high-powered, and as you see there, that's probably my favorite part. Because there's no exposed propeller, you can run them directly up onto the shoreline. If you wanted to do that for whatever reason. I picked this up like a football, chuck it into the water, build a ramp. Yeah, exactly. Build a ramp. These are your jumping, your sport, your rally car, your circuit racing type boats. And again, this is open the box, charge the battery, throw it in the water, and go.
I dig it. On to the next. Swordfish.
The Swordfish. So the Swordfish Deep Vs, we've got two different sizes. We got the Swordfish Deep V and the Swordfish Deep V Mini. The Deep V is the Deep V is the larger of the two, and the two colors. Again, go to Hobby Squawk, go to the product pages. You'll see the two different colors. You're looking at the red orange, the Big Bird, and this is 3S powered, super maneuverable. And if you're a jet boat guy, if you're a speedboat guy, you know that a lot of how a boat ride is in the setup. Your rudder angle, even the hull shape down to chine count, chine angle, all of those things. Your turning fins, how deep they are, where they're positioned. Suffice to say that all of that math is done for you with this boat. Take it out of the box, put the battery in, chuck it in the water.
Yes, Andrew Dalton. Jumping onto what Alpha said, yes, transmitters included in all of these guys. These are all RTR. So you're getting a transmitter, a battery, and almost all of these boats are minutes from out of the box into the water.
That's not me in the video, guys. Sorry. We don't have a body. So yes, completely RTR. RTR means ready to run. It's an identifier from the surface world. It means everything's in the box. So this is your RTF. You're ready to fly, right? Your radio's there, your primary drive battery, your charger's there. In all these boats, the only thing a user is adding is AA batteries for the radio. 2.4 gigahertz. These aren't toy bands, 72 megahertz or anything. These are 2.4 gig bands, and yeah, very simple to operate. Only in the case of 4 of the larger warships do you need to add ballast, but other than that, you're adding AA batteries and you're in the water.
Sweet. I think we got 2 more left. The Sports Tail.
Yeah, we do need to miss Budweiser. We need to miss Bud. So there are a lot of speedboats, guys, that we're thinking of bringing in. A lot of designs we'd love to do: catamarans, offshore powerboats, etc. Certainly the Lotus Airhammer 7. You're right. So go to Squawk and let us know exactly which ones you want to see first. So transitioning from military to sport, or civil to speed, and now we're going to shift into sail. So this is what I call the Radians of the seas, right? Mm-hmm. These are
Shrike of the seas. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. They're the Shrike of the sea. These are completely wind powered. So in this RTR, you're getting the boat, you're getting the rigging. You simply lash it up, and you're provided with the radio. And inside you have a winch servo and a waterproof steering servo, but there is no drive battery and there is no charger. The reason why is these don't need a drive battery. They have a little 4 AA battery pack inside of them. You add your 4 AA's, that powers the receiver and those 2 servos. And with those, I can go for 8 hours or longer. So the advantage, we're bringing in 2 sailboats to begin this category within the wider category of Bancroft boats. These are a smaller 480 millimeter hull, which is the one we see here. It trends between scale and sport. It's got a sport hull, but a nice scale transom and deck. And as you see, it's in all white. And then we're also bringing in the RG65 QUICKFIRE. The QUICKFIRE is a 650 millimeter class speedboat. And so the advantage of this sort of speed sailing boat, or race boats as we call them, is it's an international standard class of hull. These are standardized hulls, standardized keels, standardized A sails, where you can take these and race them against your friends. So what I can say is, if you've never sailed a sailboat, try it. They're oddly addicting, and I encourage everyone to check out Wes's channel. They published a sailboat video just the other day that covers sort of the ins and outs of sailing a sailboat. Very easy to do. I happen to like mine as a display piece because it's about 5 feet tall. Both of our sailboats, as we see here in frame, the smaller sport sail and the larger RG65 QUICKFIRE, both of these come with stands so that they're not standing on their keels. And for people who want to learn the art of sailing, we're there for you. So Andrew Dalton, you're looking for a schooner as well, and Mary Boozer, you'd like a tri-hull catamaran. I'll take that challenge. That's that can be arranged.
Well, make sure you get on Hobby Squad, guys, and let us know. I mean, like Alpha and our team have done throughout the years, from the What's Next Alpha threads and all the threads, and all that gets taken into account. We see it. We see everything. So
now you are free to ask us for more than just airplanes. The airplanes will continue to come. We've got jets, we've got warbirds, we've got single engines and twins and quadruples, and everything is coming, you guys. But now, for the people out there who are seen in the comments who are boat people or would like to try one, we want to be your house. We want to be your home for this side of RC as well. So let us know in Hobby Squawk what you'd like to see, or an S-Step. Certainly, we're looking at 1 meter sailboats to compete in international classes at that size. 1 meters and the 0.65 and the 1 meter classes, as I'm sure you know, are international standards. So bringing class approved, class conforming boats is something that we're looking at doing.
You know what's great about the surface stuff too, just as somebody with small kids, small kids it's so much easier to get them started in RC with a surface thing, whether it's a car. These tanks have been perfect for me to just put the sticks in my 5-year-old, my 7-year-old, or even my 3-year-old's hands, and let them just play with it. Like, they can drive it around and not have to worry so much. And a boat, I'd love to go to the lake and let them run a boat. It's hard to start out with an aircraft, especially for a smaller kid, but you get them that stick time, let them learn how to move their sticks better on an RC, an RC vehicle than a video game, if you will. And they're outside.
Absolutely. Get them outside.
Get them outside.
Robert Frick, good to see you here, friend. Hey.
Perfect.
Robertson, hey. He's in the chat, eh?
So let's see. Oh, Robert. Hey, Robert made it. It must be late. Oh, no, it's not that late over there. It's 6, almost 7 o'clock. So yeah, guys, so that is the big announcement. And then also, just look at everything else we brought. So not just surface, not just boats, but airbrushes now. We have new soldering equipment you guys can check out. We're expanding to be an all-encompassing hobby shop. We would like this to be a store where you're going to get whatever you need, for whatever you need in this hobby. But, obviously the products are the big focus. They're always the most fun, but don't neglect the little stuff. I can't wait to hit one of these boats with my airbrush, and, I can't wait to see what other guys do with these now that we've opened up that forum on Squawk, because the tank forum just blew up. A lot of tankers, I don't think, had a place that was as active on forums now, and it seems like
I don't think a lot of our pilots ever imagined themselves becoming tankers either, but look, here we are. The hobby's big enough, guys. If it's too windy outside to fly, go fly a sailboat. If you've got 10 buddies and there's no airfield, go shoot a tank. Like, there are far too many reasons and avenues in RC to not be able to RC something every day, whether it's a little UMX micro indoor or that big turbine jet. we recognize that all of us have varied RC interests. We're not only RC pilots, we're not only RC drivers, or RC boaters. We're RC guys. So, Robert, again, good to see you in here. George.
Yeah, guys, do you have any questions? Well, we got about 10 minutes here. We will 100%, answer any questions for you. We'll stay on as long as we need to today, because
we can also probably give people a preview of next week. James, we've got big balsa. Speaking of airplanes,
we could. We've got gigantic
3 caskets that we have there. So, so if you're not a jet guy, if you're hoping that we're going to talk about balsa today, well, sorry, it's not today. It's going to be next Friday.
I'm going to put down my headphones for a second, and I'm just going to walk the box into frame. And
let's go bring it into frame.
Bring the box, one of the boxes into frame.
Tony Jensen, yes, the wood decks are sealed. So there's a basic water sealing on them, top and bottom. If you want to stain them a different color, they're still going to take that stain, but otherwise they're water. They're not going to swell underwater.
It's taller than me, and I'm about 6 feet. So if you can hear me, I'm coming back. Here we go.
You're right, Captain Hammer.
I should put a Motion RC shirt on it.
Yeah. So here's a perfect case in point. Twisted breech. This is what a Black Horse box looks like. These are one of our balsa birds.
The Black Horse Zero. So if you can still hear me, let me get my headphones on so I can hear you. But I'm 6 foot tall, and that, my friends, is some balsa. So I'm super excited to dig into this, but I promised myself I'm not going to open it until we are live next week. Is when we're going to unbox this, unravel. I also got the P40 is here as well. So I think the way next week's going to work, the video will open. I'll have one of the planes all laid out on the table, slowly put that plane away, then bring out the next one and lay it all out. Because
the only way to do it. George Watts, this is a 60cc Zero. It's over 2 meter wingspan, so it's a big bird. But we're going to be unboxing this next week, so stay with us.
I don't even know if I can get it out of the way. I'm going to put a Motion shirt on it. It's gigantic.
Thank you, Perry. I appreciate your support.
We're running out of room in the studio with the balsa stuff now, but it's all awesome. I'm excited, especially having done the PC9 now, the OV10, and the Fairchild. This thing will be my first balsa warbird, so I think my thought process is this one's going to get electric, an Admiral motor on the front, and then the P40 is probably going to get gas. And also, I'm hoping this weekend, finally, with the weather, if you guys watched episode 2 of our live show, we had Jason Miller. He was the president of the CCRC, the Cobb County Radio Control Club. I met up with him when I moved down here, and we were setting up base here. Great builder. I mean, he is a builder. He was actually in the process of building his own Spitfire just from plans, and I handed him that Spitfire that we unboxed here, episode 2, so 9 weeks ago. But it's all ready to go. We just been waiting for the weather to go out and break in that NGH motor he has on it. So hopefully we could do that this weekend. And if Joe Nall is a go, that baby's going to be there. And if I can rush, I hope to have at least one of these 2 there as well. Because that'll be the first time. I never actually brought the Fairchild over to the main line, but I never actually flew on the main line during the 8 to 5 timeline because I never had a plane big enough to do it. So this is an 89-inch wingspan or 90-inch wingspan. Now I'm going to fit right in. But then everybody will make fun of me if I'm electric, I guess. If I have my electric motor. But I love electric motors. I'm all about electric. But I'm excited to learn. I'm hoping this year is the first year I break in my own gas motor. And who knows, maybe I'll fall in love with that too. Because if you knew me 8 years ago, you never would have saw this happening at all. So I'm excited. But I'm excited for boats. I'm excited for tanks. And, guys. And I'm excited just to be here. I love how the live show is going. I hope you guys like it. And remember as well, every week I throw in, the episode on Hobby Squawk that you can discuss. We have threads dedicated to this live show. You guys can direct where this goes. You know, tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you hope to see. One of our best shows, I think, was when Alpha brought us around the painting of the F-35 in the Free Wing factory. I know, obviously, Alpha, you're going to all the factories, so you can now show us boat factories and tank factories and, you know, all that stuff. Yep. So we're hoping.
Yeah, let us know in Squawk what you guys want to see on these episodes. And again, we're doing the lateral here, so these shows will likely end up becoming sort of multi-platform. We've already talked about boats, an airplane contest, and now there's a big balsa bird taller than James. So in the space of an hour, we're going to need to and want to condense what we're talking about. So there's again something for everyone in any given couple of weeks. As James mentioned, we've got the Benchcraft line of airbrushes. We have our solder equipment. We're going to be using those more often to put together a balsa aircraft, or to weather a boat, or customize a tank. All of those types of things is where all of this really begins to come together here.
Baku soldering, right back there. I was testing it out, and
yes, Scale
I'm
Hindenburg.
not the best solderer. I solder well enough. It works for me. Let's put it that way. But, you know, yes. Doing it all.
Yes, Perry. We're considering a version 2. A lot of our 80 millimeters. Again, I keep saying it, but go to Hobby Squawk and let us know what you want to see. And we're always listening to all of that. And I agree, Ralph. You know, Golden Age birds, like the GB, like the Gilmore that we've got, very, very beautiful.
Yeah, that Gilmore. I saw that baby live years ago from Black Horse when I was in the Netherlands at a show. You know, good guy flew it for us, and it's mean, looking good. Tom DeVert, if you're out there watching, your Gilmore's gorgeous, and that was one of the ones I hope to get my hands on, but I'll take a 0.
Shane, probably not a 90 millimeter F-35. We've got a couple other jets cooking, but again,
a lot of people want to see the SR-71 Alpha.
A lot of people do want to see an SR-71 and a Lancaster Twisted Breech. I see that a fair amount of times. Yeah. So
stay with us.
Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, and a Concorde. Todd Bretta. Hey, you work for us. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I think he's already received the briefing.
B2. Fantastic. Well, guys, thank you. You know, again, thanks so much for joining us, and we hope, again, your friends and family are all safe and sound with all that's going on in the world right now. But I hope you're taking, if you are having some time at home, hope you're taking that time to enjoy the family a bit, because one thing I love about RC, you just see in all the posts, ain't nobody who loves this hobby that mad about being home for 2 weeks. You know, they're like, this is fantastic. I wonder how many builds are getting done now that everybody's stuck inside. You know, I know I've been enjoying, you know, time with my children, running outside, running some tanks. Just got me a Yag Panther here that I have to weather in detail. But the tanks have just been so much fun because it's so quick. You know, where I live in my house, even like a smaller airplane, I don't have enough space out in my front yard or my backyard to fly. So I'm not in the interest of going to, you know, getting out of here with them as much. So we've been driving tanks around every day, having little tank battles out in the front yard. And it is so much fun. So much fun. I love it.
Yeah. Lots of good times. So, guys, as always, I see the comments blowing up with everyone's requests. You know, you got to go to Hobby Squawk.
Yeah. This live chat is not where I'm not writing any of this down. This won't live. Go to Hobby Squawk. Either start your own thread, get in the threads. I'm sure somebody will start a What's Next Bancroft thread in there. But we'll leave that on to you guys.
Yep.
But
Talkaka, yes, we have a pretty good idea of when tanks are coming back in. In fact, we posted on Hobby Squawk just yesterday an update that they're about 60 days away. So again, what we'd encourage everyone to do is put your email in on the product page for whichever tank you're waiting for. Put your email in as a notify me. And that's going to notify you. You don't have to pay anything right now. It's going to notify you as soon as that tank is restocked and ready to ship. As soon as you get that email, get to the website, get it ordered, because I can tell you these are far more popular than we had imagined. I think it's going to run the same way that boats are sort of it's something that maybe a lot of us didn't imagine us becoming. Really imagine ourselves as tankers, and lo and behold, now most of us are. So just put your email in there, look for that email, check Hobby Squawk. We always update people there first to give you a bit of a heads up. And when they're available, jump in and get on it.
Yeah, I mean, I know now. I'm just excited. Between the boats, the tanks, in my quarantine, I've been watching World War II in color on Netflix. Both versions. They have a 2019 version and the original 2009 version. Just rewatching it again. And, every time something pops up, I'm like, oh, we got that. Oh, we got that. There it is.
We got that too. We got that
too. You can make a whole, you can have a whole battle going on with everything. And it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. We're happy to be here. And I hope some of these shows, do take place, especially Joe Nall, anybody who's thinking of going. We have 12 days or 13 days before they let everyone know if it's a go or not. I hope it is. But they're going to let everybody know April 2nd. And if it's a go, we'll be there. We're going to have the regular crew. I think Mary Boozers is going to be there as well. Him, his father, Lori. You expect to see George and Steve with us. We'll be in the hangar down at the electric line, and we're going to have tanks on display. We'll have hopefully some boats by then on display, and as well, planes, of course. Planes. And then after that, if Joe Nall doesn't go, I don't know if they're going to delay it, cancel it. We'll definitely be going to the Nall one in the fall when they do it again. But then the next place we would probably be is Jet Jam. So that is in June, and that's an all EDF jet event. So we're excited. We were there 2 years ago, did a great video from that, and we're excited to get back this year. And hopefully we'll be back there in a big way. Alpha, by Jet Jam, we should be having some fun.
Yeah. We're well aware of the timing for Jet Jam, everyone.
And they're on a lake there, so Jet Jam we'll have some boat opportunity to to run away. So I'm excited about that.
Check out the website. We have all of the measurements for the boats. You're asking about sort of how big they are. They range. The smallest one is 10 inches. The biggest one is almost 4.5 feet. So 5 feet. They range quite a big range. Go to Hobby Squawk as well, because
Twisted Breach, Hobby Squawk is not a Motion RC channel. It's a forum. Hobbysquawk.com. So it's one word, HOBBYSQUAWK.com. And I'll put the link right here.
I just did.
You just did? There we go, rather than me. It's a spelling contest now. Having a little spelling bee on Motion RC Live. But, so how's everybody feeling in general before we probably wrap this thing up? Normally we stay till 1, but, being with everything going on, a whole new category announcement. We hope everybody's doing well. And mine didn't link. How come did you actually type in the HTTPS, Alpha? Did you just copy and paste it? My link didn't show up. Oh. Okay, fair enough. I don't know how it works. But yeah, we're doing it. Oh, pay it forward is great. I think he just leaves his cap locks on all the time, right? Pay it forward.
Yeah. He's going to pay it forward.
His cap locks is just broken. But that's okay. Yeah, Tao, I mean, lots of cities on lockdown right now. It might seem scary, but then just go outside, talk to your neighbors. I met a few neighbors that I hadn't seen before. So it's kind of, it's bright side to everything, There's always a bright side.
There's always an RC simulator.
Yeah,
we all have airplanes to fix. You're right, Victor. I mean, I've got a lot of things.
You know what I want to talk about?
A lot of things to paint.
Everybody has pre-flights to do. This is a great time to go through your planes, tug on servos, tug on landing gears. Get that bottle of glue out. Get everything working perfectly. Measure your CGs. Mark it down. Do it all. So
find a way to de-stress, GB. Stress isn't worth it. It's not worth the cost.
Exactly. Try not to stress about it because, life will continue. We will get through it like we have in the past. I'm sure of it. It's just right now, do what you're told. Be careful, be cautious because it's not about you. Remember, it's not about you personally as much as it's about everybody else, You know, I think about your elderly, think about young kids, you know. And the time with the kids is great. I mean, having the wife home and everything, it's awesome. You know, it's
Think
something
about
that
William Decker, who just got done with leg surgery and he's 11 planes to maiden. I mean, gosh, brother, you got to
11
get out there.
planes to maiden. I feel bad for you. Can't believe you don't have 12, William Decker. Ouch. Slacker. I can't wait to. I want to get back out this weekend. This southern weather has not been the way I expected it. We've had a lot of rain, and you know, it's just, if it's not rain or flying. Or right now, it looks gorgeous out, but of course, I have to be here for this. So that's another thing. Eventually, I think the show might move to a later time, but I'd said that in the past, but not in the near future. But probably eventually, we might move to a more evening time, so more people, you know, it just makes sense when people get home from work, more people can jump in, because obviously having this live interaction is great. You know, it's part of why you want to go live. So 12 in the afternoon, I know doesn't work for everybody all the time, but it worked well this week. It'll seem like, yeah, and people walking around upstairs, people are here, so got to deal with that for a little bit. Sorry. Normally, they're not here. Rather not be at work. I'm at work. Everybody's upstairs. So I guess, does anybody have any more questions on the boats? Does anybody have any questions for Alpha while you got us here? Because if not, then we will 100% head out and meet.
I'm going back to bed.
You're going back to bed. Alpha's going back to bed. We can keep him up, make him pull an all-nighter. He does it.
Captain Hammer, yeah, we are looking at an evening show or shows at other times. Again, just let us know. Gage, how do you sail a sailboat? You know, easily. And that's the easiest word I can think of.
With the wind at your back.
Yeah, with the wind at your back. So sailboats operate, the sails are wings. So you're always trying to angle the sails relative to the incoming wind, in the same way you would want an airplane wing to be pointed into the wind. So you've got two controls, throttle, which is going to open up your sails, and your rudder. So between those two channels, moving them is what's going to allow you to sort of fly the wind. And it's difficult to describe in words, Gage, otherwise. Other than that, I can say that within a minute or two, a lot of the people, when I go to sail, when we're making these videos even, we had a lot of people hanging out watching us, obviously, and I just gave them the radio and said, push this if you want to go, move this if you want to turn. And within a minute or two, they were able to sort of figure it out. Mastering it takes a while, but being able to figure it out and get around the pond doesn't take more than a couple of minutes. Yeah, Victor Hugo, so we're looking at the Yamato here. This is a 1/200 scale, so significantly larger than your 1/350. 1/350 and 1/700 scales are your model, sort of your tabletop model scales. This is something that's as wide as a car. This is over 4 feet long. So all of that detail that you'd like in that small model, sort of blown up to something this large. And there we see the Missouri and the Yamato coming into formation with each other. Love this thing.
I love
really
love
it.
Together like that. That's what I wish we could get here, but I don't know how many of these will be coming my way, but at least one to hopefully show you guys on display at Jonah on one of these big warships would be awesome. I can't wait to see one just in general. You know, I got an 8-foot table in front of me, so I just love to see it on there.
Yeah, here's the Missouri chasing with my Mavic Mini. Difficult to fly a drone, look at a camera, and sail a boat at the same time, but we got it done. We got it done. I love how they create that wake as they're going through water. And you notice there's some reeds poking up at the pond. The pond's only about a foot tall, a foot deep. So it's nice that these boats have a bit of a shallow draft. Here's another shot we didn't show earlier. All of that superstructure pops off with two hands. You just lift it up and you can access the battery there inside.
Chuck asked, how stable are the battleships on the water, Alpha? That's a good
question. As Chuck, yeah, really good question. Well, as you see in the videos, we're speccing the battleships specifically to use adjustable ballast. As you see, looking into the fuselage, there's lots of space. So the RTR, these boats arrive with a radio and a battery and a charger. The battery's at 2800. You could put two 10,000s in there if you wanted to drop the water line even further. But as we specify them with what's specified as required on the website, suffice to say they're very stable. I've never had one capsize, ever, even when turning very sharply at full speed, even under choppy water. Here we see a good look at the
torpedo hit.
Even after a couple of torpedo hits or kamikaze hit, we sort of see at the factory, guys, these are Missouri hulls. So these are one-piece unibody molded fiberglass hulls. You can see we obviously have a lot of them. And this is what they look like raw. From there, we then go in, and in the same way we've given you insider tips at what Freewings factory looks like, in the same way we're going to be taking you into the rotor scale and Robon helicopter factory here next month. We're also going to take you to the boat factory to show you how these things are made. It really is an entirely another level of craftsmanship. Yeah, and I agree, Twisted Breach. These are cool factory shots. I mean, who else is going to give you this stuff?
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, like the factory shots, really, that's all you, and we thank you so much for, you got a lot to do, but the fact that Alpha's learning how to use a camera well and, supplant some of the footage we could get.
Oh, we're just learning.
Awesome. I mean,
Adam Hampton, yes, the props on the battleships are metal. The website will specify them as brass. So if you go into Hobby Squawk or the website, you'll see the different photos that sort of show you up close what these things look like. So the Missouri, the Yamato, and the Bismarck all have 4 screws, technically called screws. We call them propellers. But they all have 4 screws, all of which are 3-bladed brass screws. And they're in 2 counter-rotating sets. So in the same way for an airplane where we'd like counter-rotating twins, the outboard, the 2 outboard motors on the Missouri rotate inboard, and the 2 inboard motors rotate outboard. So it allows linear acceleration in a straight line.
Oh, nice.
William Decker, regarding the Titanic, again, this is one of those Easter eggs we put in there. Same thing like the Tiamo, guys. These are boats that we'd like to bring in that we can, but go to Squawk. Let us know exactly what you want. The smallest Titanic we would do is like a 1/150 scale. It's about 6 feet long, 5 feet long. They get a bit big. So some people are really gonna love a really large liner. Some people are gonna love something a little smaller. So in the same way we said with tanks, where we brought in sort of those middle perfect transportable size and cost at 1/16 scale, we're going to be doing the same thing with boats. These 1/200s are that sweet spot of transportability, cost, weight, complexity. And in future, if people say, I want an 8-foot aircraft carrier, or I want a gigantic Titanic, that can be arranged. Yeah, William, you want big.
Now, I'm going to assume similar to the aircraft where it's 18 to 24 months from concept to doorstep. About the same on a boat. I don't even, or more, less. The one thing I see about especially these big battleships is all those little molded parts on top of the decks and stuff. That's even more intricate than any airplane I think you're gonna find.
Yeah. Well, William, if you bought a van for your AL-37, you'll have no problem with these. I love how they.
I hope you went into Chevy or Ford and said, "Look, I have this gigantic RC airplane. I need a van." I hope they got a sale from Freewing and Motion.
Exactly. Captain Hammer, I love that you bring up the tug. So the reason why Bancroft is currently organized into 4 sort of subcategories, being warships, civil, speed, and sail, is that within that civil category, as we mentioned, we've got the DP-58 yacht and a couple of others in there. That is that perfect sort of category for something like a liner, as we've been discussing, or a tug. So you're asking about a tug with bow thrusters. We're already looking at that. Now, in the context of something that's in scale with our warships, 1/200 scale tug is going to be smaller than a mouse, than a computer mouse. They're going to be pretty tiny. So I'm not quite certain you'd be able to put a bow thruster on on a boat the size of a computer mouse. But larger tugboats that are out of scale, may say 132 scale, is certainly something we're going to be looking at.
Awesome.
Beams Hobby Shack, yeah, I think we all have, many of us have similar issues with the wife, you know, but
well, we're going to start selling flowers on the website too. So
yeah, we're going to start selling RC flowers.
So the flowers can come on top of the box.
Every tank, balsa, airplane, jet, and boat comes with a flower inside of it.
Do it all scale sheets. You know, we gotta be all encompassing here. Well, this has been awesome, guys. So well, there you go, William Decker, but that's no fun.
That's RC. The website pages are live, so if you're looking for specific pricing information, I direct you there. For more information, check out the website. For more information and even more photos than we could fit on the individual product pages, go to Hobby Squawk.
Yeah, I just popped the link in there for the collections page to Bancroft, and that's another little nugget. That site has been up for a month. It didn't have the products on it, but that link has been open and findable on the homepage. So people are doing their research. So not only did we have a boat on the Hobby Squawk logo for well over 3 months, we've had this page up there for a good little while with the Bancroft logo, but I guess people don't go and search. Dig a little deeper. But yeah, you see them all up there now, guys. And again, they're all out of stock, obviously, because they're all coming soon. So if you're interested, that notify me back in stock button, which is on each individual product page, is what you want to click. If it's something you're interested in, definitely click that notify me back in stock, because that'll make sure you know you'll get an email when it comes back in stock, but it also lets our ordering people know, all right, this is the interest level in each one of these, because again, we're going to be learning the market, you know, and we expect to bring a lot of people who are already in the boat. Because I went looking, you can't find, at least from what I've saw, you can't find a lot of boats in some of these ranges out there, at least in the U.S. side at the moment. So, you know, I know at some point there were some like these. I've seen them when I've gone to some indoor shows. I believe the Ram show, what became the AMA East, they used to set up a pool there, and just a big pool that they would fill up, and guys would have gorgeous boats in there, but you don't see it too often. You don't run by it. But now we're excited to finally be able to offer these, and I can't wait to play with one, for sure. Yep, Marty. All right, guys, so I think that's going to do it. Alpha, are you okay with us wrapping it up?
I'm fantastic.
You need sleep. Alpha needs sleep. Alex, I guess you come back to me. We'll close this show out. So, guys, again, with all that's going on in the world, hope your families and your friends and everybody you know are safe. I hope you're staying safe. And we're excited, though, to announce a whole new category of, you know, of RC products to go with now. We introduced surface. We introduced sea. We're always going to have our focus on air as well, and we're excited to bring you along on this journey, guys. So check out all the pages we mentioned. I'll put the link in there once again for the collection for Bancroft. Check out Hobby Squawk. That's going to have a whole new boat section, so go in there. Anything. It doesn't even have to be what we have on our page. Any boat you have. If you're already a boater, start a thread up in there. We love to see it all from you guys, so jump on Hobby Squawk there. And if this is the first time you join us for a live show, we like to have fun every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be here, and next week we're going to be unboxing some balsa. So we'll get back to the air, and yeah, I want to thank Alpha Enos, our senior manager, for joining us. I want to thank all our moderators for hanging out with us in the chat. I want to thank Alex, who's producing us from down the road today based on what's going on, and again, thank all you guys for joining us. So that'll do it for us. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time at Motion RC.